What is going on, XCFL Network? It's your boy Regan here. We have the whole squad here for PRI Podcast Episode 8. We got our boy Guac, we got Bracket, the two living up in Delaware or Wisconsin or Vermont or something, whatever it's called, some random obscure state. We have Drewby from Indiana and the man from Florida, Florida man, Mr.
Yes,
Wingus.
sir.
Boys, how we doing tonight?
Very well. Feels like deja vu, though.
It is a
Is this
little bit of a
like
I know,
deja
it's
vu.
almost like this is our second PRI of the night.
It sounds like it, yep,
Oh.
because a certain producer might have forgot to hit record, and we got about most of the way through our first segment before my doofus brain said, "Hold on, wait a second, it's not recording. Sorry, guys, we're gonna have to redo." So this is the official cut. The first one was a practice run, but we're going now. So, guys, we got Drew coming off a big fat L to the Washington football team, a team without a name. What are our thoughts on that?
I mean, if you were, you broke the rules against Boone and you lost. What the fuck, Drew? You won a Super Bowl.
Hey, I'm not really breaking the rules, boss. I'm gonna tell you that.
Did you drop back or did you not? I think staff would disagree.
I think you need to lift more.
I think you need to
For
live
sure.
more.
There's a reason why I'm keeping track of everything now.
They hit the gym in Tennessee, bro.
They don't. I think they just their
Stop being
gyms
a
must be
soft-ass
closed
coach.
due to COVID. At least
Drew's
Boone thinks so.
Drew's trading Emmett Webster for gym memberships.
For gym membership.
No, he's not even worth that much.
I believe it. He's had a little bit of a rough go of it, and yeah, you hate to see it, but I do think it should be said. Part of the reason we wanted you suspended, Drew, is because it was such a bad loss. We considered just kicking you out of PRI, period. But I messaged Nick and said, "Hey, Nick, can you do this for me, man? Can you take care of it?" And he said, "No, man, don't take him out of PRI just yet. We're just going to hit him with a suspension." So, we called it dropbacks, but really it was mostly just because, you lost to Boone, and that's terrible. That's a terrible look. Like, every time he's been known as our 32nd best user. So that puts you at 33rd. There's no place for 33, That math just doesn't add up. I know I'm not the best guy at math here, Drew, but surely you're picking up what I'm laying down.
Yeah, no, I got you.
You're 33, man. Like, you're not even on the team. You're like the water boy right now.
It's crazy you're saying about this about a Super Bowl winning coach, Regan.
I know.
Did you make
So
the playoffs
does
last
that
season?
mean
Did you
Boone
make the
just
playoffs?
took your
Did
ring?
you make the playoffs?
Did Boone
you
take your banner?
The playoffs. Did you make the playoffs?
Did Boone last year?
It don't matter.
I don't know, man.
This year. He wants the Cowboys next.
All I can say is, Wings, I just wanted to apologize because I thought you were the worst member of this whole squad. But, man, I don't know. Drew just might have gone lower, but it's cool.
I literally just won the first Super Bowl of the cycle.
And we will go ahead and cover that real quick. But what we want to do, we want to take a quick second and just take a real serious moment and appreciate Coach Drew Gibbs and the impact that he had in his coaching career. It can't be understated, what the XCFL is as a family, and taking a second to appreciate and recognize where our members are hurting. Brian, I know that it's been a rough go of it for you and your family, losing Coach Gibbs, but you've been strong through it. And whenever you get to take a second and to breathe, if you need anything, I know that all of us are going to be here for you. Thoughts, guys? Anything that stands out to you about Coach Gibbs?
Hey, man. We love you, Brian.
Yeah, no, the stuff I saw on Twitter was, the only thing to describe it as amazing. There's a lot of it was awesome to read what all the players, former students and stuff had to say.
Players, parents, just
NFL players.
everybody.
Yeah.
Just everybody.
A wide reach,
Coaches.
Yeah. And you love to see that, as I've lost my dad recently, and just the people that reached out to me and said what he meant to them. You see a different side of your dad that you may not have known. You might not have known what a reach that man had in the lives of other people, but after they pass, you get the chance sometimes to hear those stories that you may not have heard otherwise. So I know that, Brian, we're really grateful to have you as a member of the of our little family here in the XCFL. So we're really excited, that you're here. And if there's anything we can do here at PRI, just let us know. All right. Okay. So guys, we'll go ahead and transition here to focus on the Super Bowl that we were talking about before. First things come first with seriousness. So we just wanted to, really just give some respect to Coach Gibbs and his family. Thoughts and prayers are going his direction. But back to the XCFL. It's kind of our place of refuge and safety. So, guys, what are you thinking about the last Super Bowl that we had? Super Bowl 50, big win, or was it a big L?
It was a big
It's a big
lucky
L.
W.
Big lucky
It's a
W.
it's a big L.
Big
It's a
L.
controversial topic.
I bet it is a controversial topic in your home, my guy. Yeah, living where it was like, listen here, you don't acknowledge this ever happened, or you're sleeping in the car.
I thought about it. I was like, But Kevin just took like a nap of sadness and went to bed. It was all good.
This is fact.
Glad to hear that. So what we'll do, we'll get into our first segment here, which is going to be going over our what was probably going to be the play of the game, which was I'll just let it play. Yeah, no, he can't take the penalty, Van. There's no penalty. Once you hold it, it gives you 3 seconds.
No fucking way! Oh
Well.
no!
Oh my goodness!
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh,
no.
God! And there he goes, all the way. The screaming in the
my
background has sealed
God.
the deal, and
Holy
it
shit.
is pandemonium in
Oh,
LA.
you fucking...
Bracket, what was your opinion on that game?
Well, you got my soundbite. I feel like that was pretty clear. I've
would
heard it
say
a million times since then. I've played it back. Obviously, I couldn't fucking believe it.
Would you say it was unfucking believable?
Nope. I would say no fucking way.
Oh man. And Drew, would you agree it was a no effing way type moment?
Oh yeah, I mean Brackett's game plan just had me stunned the whole entire game. I couldn't do anything. It's like he knew. I mean, if I could have ran the ball 50 times, I would have. But I think I would have caught another suspension other than the one I have right now.
But yeah, so guys, it was a great game. I mean, to have 2 PRI members, it's the first time for us. In the Super Bowl, and we had a whole PRI crew talking about it.
Oh, it wasn't. Me and you, Regan.
Well, yeah, but that was like before the podcast existed, and
it wasn't
last I
broadcasted.
checked, I whooped your ass. So,
Whoa.
so I'm surprised you wanted to bring that up. But I mean, if you're bringing it up, I'll take it. But anyway, no, it was a good game, and I really was proud to see it for Super Bowl 50. Nick said it was the best one he's seen, which I would say, yeah, it's up there in the top 3 for me. I remember the Boone one with the garbage quarterback throwing and getting that win. That was one that was up there for me. There were a couple really, really, really close ones over the years, but that one was probably one of the more like heart-stopping because Brackett drove perfectly down the field. Amazing throws. I mean, one was off Kyler's back foot, a perfect dime on a crosser. It was just one of those games, and then for Drew to just run it back like that was just
Very fitting.
It was very, very fitting. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. But props to you for being in that position. It really is to make your first one. What was it? What did it mean to you to make a Super Bowl in the XCFL?
It was awesome, man. I mean, we all play the same game. We all dedicate a similar amount of time to this, and to come from for lack of a better term, a bottom-feeding team back in Minnesota to a mediocre team in LA to moving to finally a playoff team at the end of the cycle in Baltimore to season 1. I'm in the Super Bowl, and I'm at the very end of the game. I'm right there. I put myself in a position to win it, and it slips away from me. I feel like I'm making pretty big steps here, and I was happy with the progress. I think that hindsight's 2020, and instead of checking out of that run to kill the clock off a little bit, I throw that streak to D-Hop and make Drew go the entire field to put points on the board if I can't score there. But like I said, hindsight's 2020, and We'll be back.
You'll be back. Right on.
We'll see.
All right. So what we'll do, second segment here, we're going to run right into it. It's going to be the draft. We just had our 51st draft here in the XCFL. Wait, actually, let me think. If there's 51, no, this would be our 50th draft because we would play a season and then draft. So yeah, 50th. Yep. So 50th draft, and it went kind of as you would expect for a new cycle. A lot of question marks, and the best player of the draft was pretty damn good at 84 overall. Guys, we'll kind of go through one by one and pick our favorite players out of this draft, just guys that we're going to project to be Hall of Famers in the XCFL by the end of the cycle, whether that be for this team or for another team, because we've seen that kind of happen where guys will trade teams and they'll really make their run late in the cycle. But guys that have the talent day one to be XCFL Hall of Famers. Drew, we'll have you lead off and give us your guy.
My guy's going to be that tight end is absolutely disgusting. I don't know if he's going to be an XCFL Hall of Famer though in Cincinnati. And I mean, I don't know. 99 catching traffic is something we'll never see again. 90, well, actually, who knows about this draft? But 91 catching right out of the box, 84 overall, and somehow he's a normal dev, which is interesting to say the least.
I just can't
believe
99 catching traffic. Like, that's just absurd.
Oh, it's disgusting.
I've never seen a catching rating that high before. We saw the 99 medium route with JMO's glitch coming out of last year, but that was because he was the Heisman, wasn't he? This guy's just a rando.
I think this guy was there's some kind of news story that I didn't see.
They told us all to take a second look at him in like week 3 of the season or 4. It's like, hey, you should take a look at this tight end.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's gonna have 99 something.
Yeah, if we all get that again,
Dude, imagine a corner gets it and it's like 99 man or some shit.
That would be absurd. I don't know if it's every year or if it's like a once every few cycles.
Jack will get that guy. Watch.
Yeah, Jack will get him, of course. It was a wild one where we had guys move up. We had Nick move up to number 1 overall. Let's take a look at Eddie Farr real quick. Eddie Farr had the best 40 time of the wide receivers, and he only came out with 93 speed. Do you guys think speed's really going to be something they give out pretty stingily in these early drafts?
I hope so.
I don't think so. I just think it was a bad role, to be honest.
Absolutely
possible.
Because I've drafted in other leagues of just like some drafts, and there's been a lot of speed.
Yeah, this was one of those drafts where I think the fastest guy I saw was 94 speed. I think it was the running back. I think Buffalo might have got him.
Yeah, I think it's Pickens, right?
Yep, Pickens. And Pickens was pretty high overall too, so he was nothing to sneeze at. Buffalo needed a running back, and boy, did they get one at 11. And he did come out as normal, but I'm not too worried about him. I think that he's definitely going to get fed if he's playing for Buffalo. So 94 speed, 92 acceleration. He's 5'11", 195, 93 juke move out of the gate. I mean, there's some crazy ratings, man. Yeah, I mean, you really couldn't. You really can't ask for more, having the 90 juke out of the box. And he's nasty. There were a couple players like that. Obviously, the tight end Dan Gothard. But Wings, give us your Hall of Famer projected out of this draft class.
I'm going before Wings.
I'm taking a look. Go ahead.
Yeah,
you want it? Okay, you got it.
Yeah, we don't want him to talk about his own quarterback.
Oh, yuck. Yeah, true.
So, low-hanging fruit here is Ian Burbank is a fucking stud.
What was his? I'm looking to try to find. It wasn't Goldberg. What was his overall? Do you remember, Wings?
74 overall at the box.
Okay.
22 years old. He comes out with 90 throw power.
Yeah, Burbank out of Alabama.
84 speed. A terrible nickname, but like we know that this dude has reinvigorated Wings. He's now full attention. He's back into it, and this dude's going into the Hall of Fame. It's not a question. It's how quickly he gets to the point where we're all like, yep, that's the dude.
Yeah. He was the dude. That was the guy in the draft that you were looking for. Burbank with 84 speed. I know that he did have a pretty stupid fast 40 time. Was he the first best wings? Do you remember?
No, no, the Sherman or something. I think anxiety took him. Had 86 speed, and he was faster.
Okay.
40 time was.
But did he have anywhere near as much throw power?
I think he had 92, but he's like a 60 overall or something.
Wow. That's pretty good,
Yeah,
though.
he stole Sherman in the 5th or something like that.
Well, that's not bad. That's kind of one of those. I'm trying to think of the guy that I always look at him as being on the Broncos, but it was just because Higgy used him so much early in the cycle. I think either
Tyree
last
Jackson.
cycle. Yeah, Tyree Jackson. Yep, Tyree Jackson. He sounds like a lot like that, where he's got the good athleticism and good throw power, but probably no accuracy, which is
Yeah.
a big deal this year. Got to have accuracy. I wanted to highlight real quick the quarterback Justin Goldberg, who was kind of one of those guys that you were between probably. I bet he was one of those guys he was in the conversation. Not as much speed, but he did have 92 throw power, better deep accuracy out of the gate, pretty much the same short accuracy, give or take. But he doesn't have the speed. Wings, what's your opinion on quarterback speed? Do you feel like that's a big deal this year?
I like a mobile quarterback for sure. But honestly, the biggest difference for Goldberg for me was it said that he had that slow release, and it
Oh,
basically said that Burbank had Rogers' release. So I was like, there's no way. I was already using Herbert and could not stand how slow it was. So I basically took him off my board.
yeah, that's a big deal, man. I was going to ask you guys a quick question, just kind of as an aside before we keep going for you, Drew, or not Drew, Wings and Guac. I was going to take a second and see what do you guys think about the super, or I guess the what are they called, All Star Game guys, where we get the wheel spin. Do you guys think that's
Love
a
that.
last year absolute must because we didn't have dev regression? You could basically guarantee a guy was going to be most likely superstar. Every now and then you get a star, but even rarer you get an X factor. So superstar, in my opinion, was like just gold because you could dev them quick and they were nice money. But like Niles Thomas went eighth overall because he was a wheel spin. Niles Thomas, the cornerback out of Michigan State, I think. Pretty sure, pretty sure Grizz is just tired of not having corners that have that
Devs.
don't have dev. Yeah, and he had 94 speed, 95 acceleration. He's a great corner. Not really that much coverage, but with superstar dev, he should get that relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like that is probably the best way to go, or did you guys like how so many guys were hidden? What would be your opinion on that? If you see two guys, one guy's a guaranteed wheel spin, the other guy is probably going to be hidden dev based on where he's projected. Who would you take in that case?
I'm taking the wheel spin. So, like, if I've got a top 15 pick and this player that falls into, let's say one of them is projected as a top 5 guy and the other is listed as a 1 to 2 round guy, I'm taking the 1 to 2 round guy because I know that I can build him into the same thing that other dude's going to be at. But then I can avoid him regressing at 27 years old.
Good point. Now, dev regression does factor in a little bit because after those first 2 seasons, it's kind of a race. If you don't feel like you'll get the stats for that player, you want to get his dev in those first 2 years and then kind of just let him ride it out till he's older. But if it's a guy that you think he can pretty much keep that, I think it would be worth it. Now, I'm going to show you. We're kind of going to go by real quick. This is kind of what I wanted to look at super quick with the draft review was just by round what the how it was dispersed with the dev, like, because a bunch of hidden devs, we didn't really get the chance to see what the hidden were on draft day, but Hambrick going to Philly, which was just a 6'5" monster, he was X Factor. But other than that, I did not see any other X Factor devs in the entire draft. A lot of star, a few superstar. This one right here, Niles Thomas at pick 8 was the wheel spin. But the only other superstar I saw was Zach Do You Long. Oh no, he got that because he was drafted in the top 15. So he wasn't a superstar.
I
That
think
was
Daniel Vines, Minnesota's QB, was superstar
okay.
for sure.
Yeah, Danny Vines. Yeah,
Danny Vines, Danny
I
Dimes.
see him here. Yeah, 71 overall, taken out of Arkansas, going to Minnesota. He was a
I think a
superstar
corner
dev.
was too. I don't know if it was the one Hammer took or maybe Rugger took.
I'm not
Superstar.
seeing.
The one that Rugger took was Star.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, the one exactly. The one Rugger took was Star. Rodney Williams. The one that went first, which would have been Nick Williams, was actually normal, which is kind of crazy. Oh no, not Nick Williams. Wait, no. Why does it say drafted position tight end?
I don't know. His card's all fucked up.
It is. I think it's because there must have been a tight end named Nick Williams, like a long snapper or somebody, and it jacked it up. But he was. I think he. It looks like now it's correct. So he's star dev, but he was, and he was probably like 75 when he got drafted. But as you can see, current dev on the right side, and I think in current overall, I think that's where it would show what it is. But obviously, I missed on my guy. You know what else is new? First draft, Kelvin Edison, supposedly top 5. Nothing. Drew, I think you can relate, right? Getting the top 5 guy, and he's a bust.
Oh no, like this, I'm shocked. But he's never touching the field again. So,
Dude, if you're
Emmett
using
Webster.
if you're taking QB, I can't believe you didn't ask me who I was talking about.
Dang, yeah, he's just
I didn't see it.
88
Oh,
throw
man.
power,
I
78
thought somebody in like the
speed.
top 5 was gonna take him and like just be pissed. Because I did the private workout with him and it told me like
He's
what
a
round
bum.
he's projected.
Yeah.
He's like a 3rd or 4th rounder.
Garbage. Yeah, that was a crazy one. The second round, really, I didn't see. Let's see, superstar. Oh, that's the wide receiver. So that was a wheel spin. Gerard Felder was a wheel spin. 2 other superstars. That was my corner. He was drafted free safety, but he had 49 hit power, so I moved him to corner. Um, and the tight end, yeah, just not really a good smattering of devs. If you get hidden, it's just from what I've seen so far, it's most likely going to be star. There's 1 or 2 X Factor and Superstar, but Wheel Spin, if you want that higher dev, they're really worth it. I think you'll see more of them go in this next draft in the top round, because some of these guys would not have lasted into the second round if we had known kind of what we do now. But would you guys agree with that? Let's go ahead and move on to wings, and I guess I'll let you answer my question first, right? You guys agree?
Sure.
Right on. Good talk. All right, wings. Who's your guy that's going to be an ex-CFL Hall of Famer?
All right. Well, bracket took my guy. I'm gonna take Austin Hambrick from Grizz's team. He's 91 speed, he's what, 6'5",
Yep,
X
6'5".
Factor, 21 years old, has 93 spec catch. And dude, just firsthand from using Mike Williams, who's like 6'4", has a 99 spec catch. Dude, he just dunks on people, and I think Grizz is just gonna be able to throw it up one-on-one with him, and he's just gonna make plays over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, I was going to look and see what his I need to go back to overview. I was going to look and see what his vertical was, because I do
His
think they said vertical
jumping
matters.
is 95 jumping.
Wow, yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah, he's a monster.
yeah. So I think he's gonna do big things. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer probably.
Okay. And Guac, who do you think would be I know we've kind of pilfered some of the top guys out of this draft. Is there anybody else that you really like in this draft so far?
It's tough. Yeah, you guys pretty much took the top guys, but it's tough. I'm gonna go with 2 people because I'm allowed. So if Rob can run the ball, I think his running back could be Hall of Fame potential based off of how he came out the box.
Mm-hmm.
94 speed, 92 acceleration, 91 change of direction, 93 juke move out of the box could be huge. I mean, he's a big guy too. He's almost 6 foot. He's 5'11", 195. He's a young guy, so Rob could actually have a lot of time to develop him and turn him into something special. If I don't, I'm not hating on Rob's run game, but if Rob can run the ball, he could be a monster. And also, I'd like to touch on Danny Vines. I think the way that Hey Bob plays, and he can be a competitor. He's proven, last Madden that he can get to the playoffs and he could be he can win games. I think that Danny Vines could turn into something special for him also. pull up his stats real quick.
Yeah, he's got good
My
throw
bad.
power, 91 speed or 91 throw power, but only 79 speed.
Yeah,
I don't see a lot of crazy stuff with Hey Bob scrambling and things, and he is superstar dev out of the gate, which is a really nice
exactly.
benefit.
Yep, that's why I was going with him. Yeah, he's only 71 overall, but with the superstar dev and him being so young, he could develop. I know like with the how we nerfed XP this Madden. I mean, we could see this guy high 80s maybe.
Yeah, even in the
It
first
could
two
be
years,
possible.
even if say Bob falls off a cliff, just with that dev alone over the next 2 years, because
Hmm.
I think it's one full year they get free without regression as a rookie. And then that's that second year, if I recall from previous Maddens, it was that second year when they'll regress. So he'll probably have 2 years of superstar, is what I would assume.
Yeah, yep. Those are my guys.
Right on. I would say my guy. Um, this is a tough one. I think I was between two guys here. One was Dudley. I'm a big middle linebacker guy because they get a bunch of stats, they get a bunch of tackles, and I guess the biggest difference is Dudley doesn't really have the hit power. Zone coverage isn't where you'd want it to be, but I would assume that Dudley is probably going to be mostly a user guy for Brapp and the Jets. And that defense needs a lot of help statistically. So I would say that that's a big one. And then, but my guy personally is going to be Marcus Kaysen out of LSU. I love how even in our sims, LSU is still just cranking out monsters, absolute monsters at the middle linebacker position. This is going to be a guy JMO loves hit power, and from what I've seen, the trait doesn't matter as much as it does the actual hit power itself, especially for user hit sticks, which JMO's going to do all the time, twice on Tuesdays. So uh, I love it. The 92 hit power, it's a perfect fit for him. 89 speed, 90 excel. Decent zone coverage, even better than the other guy who has a higher overall somehow. I guess he has higher like block shed, pursuit, play rec, things like that. But for a guy in this Giants defense, this is a perfect fit. And I think he does even have that trait. Let me make sure he has the big hitter trait. I would assume he would. 92 hit power is one of the higher ones I've seen coming out of the gate. Um, let's see, where is it? Defense. Yep, big hitter. He has big hitter and strip ball. That's big, man. That's big time.
I agree. I think he's going to be, especially like you said, he's always hitting with the user hit sticks. He loves it. He used to eat me up all last cycle with the Bucks. It was crazy.
Right on, man. So we'll go and end this segment. Shout out to Neon Sports for just having this super clean format. I love how you can review these drafts. You can go down. You can even review the 2021 draft and see where their current overall is, see where they were drafted, see how guys are progressing. You can search by round, team, position, overall. Lots and lots of stuff. It's just totally great for content. You can make a bunch of articles based on this stuff. So shout out to Neon Sports for really having a clean format. But we'll go and get rolling on to our third segment, which is going to be the trade review. Some of these guys really hit it big with some trades this offseason. We saw about 4 big blockbusters, and some of them lost in these blockbusters. So, guys, we'll kind of go trade by trade real quick and break it down. Um, I will go ahead and start us off with the biggest. I would say this was probably one of the bigger ones. We got our commish, Mr. Nick Larson here, trading with Air V and the Texans, the hapless Texans, I gotta say. So it was the first overall pick, round one, pick 16, and the future second for with Micah Parsons. And we were kind of split on this. This is a trade that some people will say garbage for one side, some will say garbage for the other side. I know Brackett, you were in big. You went to bat to kind of defend this trade a lot on behalf of Air V. What did you think about Micah Parsons as an athlete? Is he worth the number one overall pick?
Um, yeah, like I was saying, he is genuinely irreplaceable as a pass rusher. I mean, you can still create pressure, but are you going to have somebody that's 94 speed now
Yeah,
who can both drop into coverage if you need him to at that linebacker spot, or be absolutely relentless at the quarterback? I mean, he's got 81 finesse move. Um, I think his zone coverage was also in the 70s.
it's almost to 70. It's 69.
So yeah, I understand why Nick does it, because Nick likes building his own guy. He likes having
Yeah, for the fun of it.
the guy,
Yeah.
and he definitely got him in Eddie Farr. But I don't think anybody else gives away that piece.
Yeah, that's bold. That was a really bold move. And Micah Parsons is a freak athlete. He's the one of a kind type guy that you can't find anywhere else on anybody else's roster. Um, Wings, I know you were kind of in the opposite direction. You thought Air V had better options available for that first overall pick. Do you want to go into detail on that?
Well, I don't have the quite the details, but just knowing from some of the DMs back and forth what was offered to him, I think he could have gotten more. And I don't think that middle linebackers have really any value, if I'm being honest. I guess if
Well,
you
I'd agree
play
with you if he
if
played middle linebacker.
Yeah, Nick
is he
went
is
smart and called it, especially in XCFL style play. He made him a pass rusher, which was just brilliant.
what but is that allowed? Like, because I know we can't
Obviously,
make I know like Isaiah Simmons last year. I mean, he basically played linebacker, but he was listed as a safety, so he couldn't play middle linebacker.
No, it's
well,
absolutely
now he's a
allowed
middle
because
linebacker.
he's a right outside linebacker in a 4-3, which means I would have qualms if he tried to turn him into a 4-3 defensive end, even though he's taken snaps at defensive end in place of D-Law this year in real life. So, I mean, I think
I
in
guess
one,
that's what I'm asking. Is he allowed to play outside linebacker in a 3-4?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, he can
By
certainly
So
do
he
that.
can
position,
play.
he is.
That's the position. Well, not in a 3-4, but
That's
yeah,
what I'm
for right
asking.
now,
In a
for
3-4, is he
ARV
allowed
running
to?
a 3-4, yes, that he can absolutely be a pass rusher.
Huh. I still don't think he's worth it.
Anyway,
No, that's fair. I think it's a unique trade where I think ARV kind of he looked at it and said, you know what, I'll still get 16. I can go ahead and get that freak athlete that'll probably be better than whoever I could draft at number one. Which you could
Yeah.
argue, just because Micah Parsons can't be a Hall of Fame player. I mean, I would say I'm hard pressed to say that he's not better than anybody in that draft. I think that at 23 in Superstar Dev, 82 overall, I think he's the best player in that draft by far. He's the one freak athlete that you can't find. So I think it's a good move for ARV, because he probably doesn't feel like he can develop a player as well as Nick can, who Nick says, it's a receiver. I can make him a god in 3 seasons. So he just, says he kind of values it accordingly. So, but yeah, I mean, guys, I know Guac and Drew, you didn't really get to share your opinion on it. What do you guys think about this trade? Any last thoughts?
You know what? Drew gave me this trade advice. If you think it's a good trade, fuck what everybody else thinks. If you feel good about it, then you shouldn't let anybody else sway you in any direction. And I think both guys obviously liked it. They went through.
So, an update for our listeners: Drew lost the game to Smitty during the podcast, so he will not be with us for the rest of the show. But we'll go ahead and go straight to Guac. Give me a quick one word answer: win, loss, or is this fair?
Fair.
Fair. All right, Wings, you got this fair, or is this who do you got?
I think everybody lost.
Okay, and bracket.
I think Nick lost the trade.
Wow. Okay. Yep. So we got pretty split so far. I'm going to call it fair. When you've got two guys, you could make an argument both ways. That kind of becomes a matter of an opinion. So I'll just say it's a fair trade. I think it was fair for both sides. I get for both teams why they would make that deal. I think both of them won. So moving on, we're going to go to the second trade. This was a big one. This one might have been the biggest one of the offseason. We had Jair Alexander and a current first rounder going to the Vikings for pick 5, a future first, and a future second.
Terrible.
I can't believe he added a pick to that.
Yeah, he added a current first, and that's the first that he got his quarterback in. That's why it's so important we reviewed the draft so we could kind of see where some of these picks went. So, for reference, Nairi ended up picking an offensive lineman. That kind of says it all. With his first round pick 5. And the Vikings got a superstar quarterback at pick 23.
Alexander for a lineman. What?
Yeah, but he does get the
just don't
future
think
first.
at
I'm definitely in I think it sounds like we're pretty unanimous on this one, just based on how the draft played out. To get I mean, just props to Hey Bob for getting a very, very nice haul out of this. You get a franchise quarterback at at round one, pick 23, and Jair Alexander for what ended up being an offensive lineman and then your future first and second. So he's betting on himself that he's going to be better than pick 5 next year, which I don't doubt he will be, given the fact he has a superstar quarterback and a really good
And
corner added to that secondary, which was pretty putrid. Do you guys kind of agree with that?
yeah, that one confused me because uh, as I was going to bed the night before, I messaged him as soon as I saw Jair go off. I was like, "Hey, I will pay you whatever you want. Send me Jair." And he said, "Okay, cool." I sent him a link to my team. He said, "I'll look over this in a little bit." I said, "All right, let me know what it costs, and we'll get it done." And I woke up the next morning, and he sent him away for that. And I would have sent whatever.
Yeah, I think that's the problem
Um,
is guys that don't give concrete offers are definitely at a disadvantage. I bet Hey Bob was kind of like, yo, I'll send you current future 1 and future 2 if you send me back Jair and your current 1. And he was probably like, well, I mean, I love with picks like that. It's way easier than trying to gauge what kind of players they want. Um, that's hard, and I think that my guess is Hey Bob actually sent that deal to Nairi, which, you know, I've just in my experience, guys are more receptive when you make the deal for them, basically. But
Well, shit, I would have offered him Rashawn Slater and a couple firsts for him, if I knew he wanted an offensive
yeah,
lineman.
I know, right? I would have no, yeah,
I think
it
Jack
was a
would have
head
sent him
scratcher.
his whole offensive line from Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it was a head scratcher. It was a head scratcher. But, we may look back and this may be one of those. I don't know if it'll be as bad as the Derwin trade, but it may be one of these Derwin
what
James type
trade?
trades. Oh yeah,
What trade?
that's true. I legally can't reference that trade,
All right.
so
The Derwin trade. The Derwin
that
trade.
thank you, Guac did
What
it
about
for me.
the what
So
about the Hollywood Brown trade?
that one was
Nah.
brackets had a couple that were like royal
Uh,
head scratchers. But we'll
my
move
team
on to the
always
What about
puts
third
this
one
that
here.
out
Kyler
there.
trade coming up?
Now these two were kind of two. These last two trades were very similar, where it was we're gonna go first is the Derrick Henry trade, and the other was the Aaron Donald trade. They're both going for 2 firsts, current future first, and a decent player for a superstar bona fide stud. Um, this is a tough one here because we were actually having this debate before. Do you want a bird in the hand or 2 in the bush? I had to explain that entire metaphor to Wings, who apparently has never heard that before. Um,
Because none of us are 40.
but the
And
question is,
so
do you
I'm
want
just
somebody that's
gonna.
guaranteed stud right now, given the way development is, or do you want to go ahead and take somebody that's decent and then those 2 future picks and see if you can make something out of it? I personally, I mean, I'll reserve my judgment till the end, but we'll start with you, Bracket. Who did you think won this trade?
You didn't even list the trade.
It's the sorry, I've got it up on the screen. Sorry, it's the Derrick Henry trade for Mecole Hardman and the current one and future one from
Cool.
Big
Now that we
Smitty and
all
the
know what
Chiefs.
we're talking about.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad I think that kind of helps, doesn't it? That helps you
Appreciate
form your
it.
opinion a little
Appreciate
better,
it.
huh? And
I
keep in
actually think it
mind,
was a
Derrick
straight
Henry's
up deal.
28.
I do think that Drew got the better of him, but I think that Sean got everything that he wanted. And being that Sean just steamrolled Drew just now, um, I have a hard time calling him the loser of this trade.
It's a
I
short
mean, he
Let,
term.
let,
obviously
let,
didn't need Mecole the way that we thought that he was going to.
Yeah, it's definitely a short term win. And given the fact that Drew, with that current first, ended up picking who
The
we kind of
QB he
agree was a
absolutely
bust
hated.
quarterback. Yeah, pretty much a bust quarterback. The jury's still out on how he uses Mecole Hardman, given the fact his quarterback only has 88 throw power. And the future first, I guess, is more the jury's out on that, whether how well Smitty does this year, which he's projected to be another
He
playoff
just
team.
the Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, he just
So
beat the
like,
but Boone just beat the Super Bowl champion, man. Like that's a
Facts.
low
hey,
bar.
hey. You're right. You're right.
Thank you. But
You take a loss like that, you walk away and you play tomorrow.
I really think that
Back to back.
it sucks. It's one of those things like just on paper, I say Drew wins this trade a mile away. But
that was
given how it
terrible.
played out, it's like
It's still
Mhm.
terrible.
but given how it
It's
played
still
out,
terrible.
it is I don't know, man. For right now, if Smitty goes and wins a ring, it's worth it. I don't care. Like
Smitty's not even winning the AFC West.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair,
right.
fair. But and I bet like all
Yeah.
my Survivor money, or not Survivor money, XFL Vegas money on you. So I would certainly hope you come through there. But um, yeah, I don't know, man. So Wings, you sound pretty strong opinion on it. What do you think?
Oh, dude, I mean, like we've seen trades in past cycles that Miko Hardman's worth 2 first himself.
Mm,
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and
it's
people,
unique speed.
I think that running backs are just they have no value. I mean, they never really have. You can
This
take
specific
whoever
one is
and be good.
different.
Yeah, I
I
was gonna
agree.
say
Yeah.
this.
It's not.
He's
And it's a
28
little
years old.
not.
That's the one negative that you can take. Henry is a unique running back in the fact that he's
He's 28 and he's making 25 mil a year. Like,
that's another fair point. Okay, no, that's a good point. I think it's one of those things like if Smitty goes out and proves us wrong, I agree. I think he loses on paper, but the way Drew drafted with that pick really hurts him. And then it depends on how well Smitty does this year. If Drew goes out and doesn't even make the playoffs, and Smitty goes out and wins the Super Bowl, I mean, we could look at this trade differently. I yeah,
Yeah.
I
Guac, do you have
still,
any?
Derrick Henry, Super Bowl MVP with 300 rushing
Yeah,
yards.
yeah, that would change my mind for sure. That would change my
yeah,
mind real quick.
it's not gonna happen now.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I would assume you're the naysayer, given the fact he's in your division and he kind of whooped your ass, opened a can of whoop ass on you last cycle, or last season.
Wait,
Um,
what? We were 1-1.
oh, you went 1-1. Oh, okay. Well, um, and
Always does.
then, well, Guac, did you have any thoughts on this?
I think a lot of people think it would like definitely like I agree with what you said. It's the one side on paper. It definitely looks like a one-sided trade, but if you look at what Derrick Henry did in just the playoffs alone last year, he carried him to the Super Bowl.
Prove it.
Yeah, he carried him through. And in the one playoff game, he had a fucking 99-yard touchdown reception.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was crazy. That was
it was
pretty crazy.
insane. I mean, Derrick Henry is a freak of nature, and I give the Wings from he's a 28-year-old running back, $25 million dollars a year. It's fucking insane. And then Mecole Hardman, I mean, he has Mecole. I mean, he has a. I'm sorry, he has a Tyreek Hill.
Kill.
This is a younger. I don't know. It's a split decision, but I think it was kind of fair for both parties.
Okay, so Guac goes fair. Wings, I'm guessing you say it's a win for Drew.
Oh, for sure.
And Bracket, who do you say wins this one?
Drew won the trade on paper. As long as it plays out the right way, Drew wins the trade, but Sean's happy with what he got. And I mean, if he's winning games, he's winning games.
True. I'm actually gonna say I'm gonna go actually to the opposite side here. I'm gonna say that Smitty won this trade, given the fact of how Drew has drafted and how he looks without Derrick Henry, and then how much he gave up to
Well,
replace Derrick Henry.
We can't take into account what he drafted. Like,
No,
that's
you
just
absolutely
that's just
can.
user
That's what
error.
we're doing here. We're
It's about the
reviewing.
trade. What are you talking
It's about-
Wings?
Yeah, that's
We just
part of
did
the
it with the
trade.
previous one.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, I mean,
I
who
don't
we
trust
drafted
Drew's
doesn't have to do
drafting.
with-
I don't trust the
Yeah,
fact
he
that Drew
drafted
can
a
draft
quarterback.
anybody
Doesn't
right
help.
now.
He
I'm
has
just
to go
taking
draft another quarterback or trade for one.
He doesn't have to. He's going to, though.
Yeah,
he
and
is
it's
going.
so you got to account the fact that he missed on that deal, is going to have to replace that guy, and
Yep.
he went out of his way to pay, in my opinion, too much for Cam Akers from the Rams. He got an 83 overall back. I mean, Cam Akers is like, middle of the road. Now, you want to talk about a dime a dozen running back. That's a dime a dozen running back, Wings. I would agree that guy has no value. But Derrick Henry is a unique back that if this is the missing piece to Smitty's offense, like, imagine this in real life. Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill, and Pat Mahomes. Like, that's just a disgusting combination on offense. If not, even if it's only for 1 year, 1 or 2 years, like, just to have that offense is disgusting. That's a crazy combination. So, in my
He had
opinion, I
decided
think
he
Smitty
wasn't
wins this
paying.
trade, but barely. Like, he made it so much better by, first off, by beating Drew. I think that's hilarious. But secondly, by Drew missing so badly on that current first.
So wait. Regan, would you trade Hollywood Brown and 2 firsts for Derrick Henry?
Absolutely not.
So then he lost the trade.
No, that's my opinion on it. I would not trade for Derrick Henry. But if I knew that my opponent was going to get a bum quarterback and then I don't trust his drafting ability next year. I just don't. I can't say that Drew won this trade. Like it's a tough thing for me, but I think that Drew, given his drafting, given the way he's played these first couple of games, he's he's weaker because of losing Derrick Henry. This is the reigning MOP candidate, basically. I mean, I don't think the votes have been completely tallied, but Derrick Henry was on another level when it came to running the football last year. So um, we'll move on real quick. We're kind of trying to get through this. This is our last trade. Now, this is a similar one, guys, but it's on the defense. Now, this is one that I would love to hear your opinions on because it's almost identical. Projected late round first next year and this year, which I got to see who the Rams drafted at 25. Let me go look and
I think he
see.
took his I think he took his running back who ended up like at an
Oops,
82 overall or
looked
something like
wrong.
that.
82. Wow.
Like Carr, I think is his name.
Clark? No, that's a right end. He took a
Carr.
defensive end. Defensive end normal, but 23 years old. Let me see if he's any good. 83 speed, 84 acceleration, 80 finesse moves. So he basically got a guy to replace Aaron Donald. But
And that contract.
yeah, in the contract. So
I,
nothing that jumps off the paper really. 83 strength, 80 finesse moves. 80 is pretty good out of the gate, but he's a normal dev, 23 years old. What do you guys? I mean, we'll start with I guess Wings. You've been pretty loud today. We'll go and start with you. Give us
I
your quick break thoughts.
I think Boone won that. Well, Doc Boone, the real Boone, won this trade. Um, I think Donald's just so old. Like he's 31.
And he
He's
takes a
gonna be
lot of cap.
declining. Takes a lot of cap. He gets 2 firsts in return, and he gets a young stud in Devin Bush. I don't really care about middle linebackers, but if he needed a middle linebacker, he's about as good as you can get
He
for a
is,
young
man.
guy.
J Rod, I'll be honest. The reason J Rod beat me those games, or the one game I played against him, in my opinion, mostly was because Devin Bush. Devin Bush was he could cover Hollywood Brown. That was the one I complained about, where Hollywood Brown had him by like 2 or 3 steps when I threw the ball, and he outruns a 97 speed receiver to the ball because he's playing over the top. I was blown away by that. He's a really nice piece, and he's to have a fast linebacker that can cover deep is a big advantage in this game, in my opinion.
And see, my thing is with pass rushers, like I feel like you can insta shed with just about
Yeah,
anybody.
I
So like
agree.
paying that much for somebody.
As long as they have decent stats.
Well, my rookie is terrible. Like his stats are terrible, and he just insta sheds like crazy.
Huh.
And
Against the run or
I don't know,
pass or both?
both.
Wow.
Like against Pride, he had 6 TFLs and 4 sacks.
Jeez Louise.
So I don't know. Paying that much for a position, I feel like you can use anybody.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't really like it.
Well, that's your opinion. I get that. Let's get Guac's opinion on this. Guacalicious, what you thinking?
I'm thinking that Boone definitely won on the trade. I'm with Wings on this one. I just think that it, two firsts and a young middle linebacker, the stud, like you said, he's a hell of a fucking player. He can cover Hollywood Brown, so he's doing something right. Um, Brackett said it earlier. He's avoiding the contract with Aaron Donald. I think the only reason you would trade for him is championship run, right? Because I feel like J Rod isn't. He's a playoff contender, right? So I mean, this guy will be good for him the next couple of years, and he'll stay good.
Yeah.
But I think definitely Doc Boone won on the trade. I mean, his pass rusher that he drafted was tons, but
Yeah, he'll be quality till he retires, but it's a I mean, to me, if it was just 2 firsts, I'd be okay with it. But throwing Devin Bush in on top of it, I don't,
yeah,
I can't see any justification for that, given his
Devin Bush is
age.
worth more than those 2 firsts.
Uh, mm,
He's
I
yeah,
wouldn't go quite
22
that far,
overall,
personally.
24.
88 overall. He's got 91 hit power.
He's 24.
He's
I don't
24,
know
yeah,
about
not
it.
bad. I mean, I think he'll still be quality for the cycle. I think you got to change your overall like brain, like the way you look at an overall. If he's got the hit power, that'll stay for a while. His speed will stay for a while. His isn't his dev like star right now?
Yeah.
Star.
Okay, let's look at him. Yeah, star dev 5'11", 234, 88 hit power, 70 zone. Yeah, so I mean he's good enough. Like he's a pretty decent. He's a good starting middle linebacker. And yeah, I don't know like if unless he users Donald, which I haven't seen a huge benefit to usering defensive linemen. I don't
He
even know
has
what the
TJ Watt
strategy is here.
too. But
Yeah, he's
like,
got TJ Watt. I mean, is he just going to
Wicked
rotate?
combo.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
This
I
is
mean,
what I'm saying. So it's a tale of two halves for me. I think that short term, Jiggy gets to make all kinds of push into the playoffs, right? You already have a really nasty pass rusher in TJ Watt. Then you add Aaron Donald to it. But then long term, I mean, you get younger, significantly younger. You avoid the contract. You get a fast linebacker that'll last you the entire cycle.
yeah,
And I know Wings doesn't care about them because he plays in nickel 79% of the time. But I think that they're important if you're going to play in smaller sets.
yeah. I'm
Bigger sets.
definitely a big fan of Devin Bush because I played J Rod twice or actually once, but um, we missed the second game against each other. But the I do it. I feel like personally he was the sole reason that I lost that game because the deep post was not available because he could just drop him back into that deep blue every time. And he does a lot of that. He does a lot of deep blue. He actually uses the cover 3 invert where he'll throw that linebacker into the deep blue. And going from the linebacker position, that was where Devin Bush was running and beating Hollywood Brown to a post route, which was absurd to me. But that I feel like the value of Devin Bush versus what the value of Aaron Donald brings you, it's just I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I guess the jury's still out. I personally feel like the Rams win this deal considerably. What do you, Bracket? What's your vote here for the win?
The Rams win the trade.
Okay. And
he gets what he needs short term.
Gotcha. And so you would say, in that case, it's fair because it's sort of like the other one where it. I guess sort of like the one with
because nobody else would pay that much for Aaron Donald.
Okay, gotcha.
No, it's not fair, but he gets what he needs.
Okay. And
So
Wings, are you going Doc Boone wins by a long shot?
Yes.
Okay.
Doc Boone wins the trade by a lot.
All right.
I see why he did it.
Well, good stuff, man. This has been good stuff. Kind of reviewing the last offseason. It was a busy one. We had a lot of trades in the draft. We had a lot of trades with players moving, big name players like Donald and the reigning, which likely MOP Derrick Henry. It was definitely a big season for trades and moves like that. So we'll go ahead and go to our last segment here. We're kind of rounding it out of the hour. Go to our clown of the week and our user of the week. Clown of the week, I assume, is going to be very unanimous. It was going to be unanimous before he left, middle of the podcast. So, clown of the week, it is going to go to Mr. Drew. Wings, since you have been dealing with a lot of crap recently, I'll give the mic to you to explain why Drew is so deserving of this prestigious award.
well, first off, not only did he lose to Boone, our 32nd ranked user, he broke the rules and got suspended, losing to Boone. Then he went and lost to Smitty
With a better quarterback.
back to back. And then he dipped on the podcast because he was so mad he lost. So I mean,
That's
it's
right,
just
Smitty,
all
you made
around.
him
It's just
rage
all
quit.
around bad.
That's a lot of
All
L's.
the
That's
L's.
a
Yep.
lot of L's.
All
And he
the-
drafted a bad quarterback, which you could have clearly told him, hey, man, that guy's a bum. Don't draft him. Oh,
What's the fun of that?
Yeah, Drew was his number one, competitor in Spotlight last year. Like,
It's as if all of the good karma just went into that one kick return, and he's just getting a whole wave of shit for it.
for real. For
Oh.
real. Like
I'm
all of
honestly
his
just bad
all of
Sunday.
his Madden luck was just milked right into that freaking kick return. And because it was dumb. There was a moment where 3 guys were in the vicinity completely unblocked and
They did nothing.
not a hand.
Nothing.
Not a hand on him, not a tackle animation in sight. It just right through. Like he parted the Red Sea, like he had I don't know, AIDS or something. They were like, man, I don't want to touch him, Nothing like
Even trying to
promoting
switch
He's
that
got Magic
outside
Johnson
dude.
running
wasn't
Yeah.
doing anything.
nothing like promoting negative stereotypes on our show, right?
I mean, listen, at least it's not a Parkinson joke.
Yeah. Well, AIDS, just if, in case a family member is
We've
suffering
made
from
those
AIDS, just
before.
know it's that obviously
For
you can
copy.
touch them. It's not an issue. But
Just don't let him get blood.
yeah, that would not be good. That would I wouldn't recommend that for most people, honestly. I don't know if this is a regular occurrence for you, Wings, down in Florida. Is that a thing you guys do, like a welcoming, thing, like a ritual? That's a little uncomfortable.
Giving blood. Oh no,
Donating blood.
I just saw one of those big red blood drive things in Winn-Dixie today. So
Oh, oh, blood drive. I
Florida
thought you
man
meant like
drinks AIDS
giving
blood.
somebody like blood, like just like here's a vial of my blood. Welcome to my house. Like
You're an idiot.
oh my
I don't know,
god,
man. Florida's a weird place. I wouldn't be beyond it.
Fucking you.
All right, so user of the week. We'll go ahead and we've been another kind of unanimous vote. We want to go ahead and give this to the entirety of the XCFL for raising money to get Brian the Panther fan pack during his time losing his dad and being just toughing it out and pushing on. It really shows that the XCFL is a family. And guys giving out of their own money to Brian to go ahead and get him that. I know he got a couple jerseys. He got a sweatshirt, like a lot. I mean, there was a lot of gear in that thing. So 2 jerseys. I think one was the safety Chin. One was Chin, and the other
Moore,
one
Chin.
was it was either DJ. I think it was DJ Moore. It was because Samuel's
DJ Moore
yeah.
and Jeremy Chin.
Yep, DJ Moore. Yep. And so it's really awesome, man. You love seeing that, and I know that
And
Brian appreciated it.
I think Josh and NWS sent like a custom picture of his dad or something.
Yeah,
I think I
yeah.
saw that
That's
too.
awesome, man. Yeah, you love to see it. I love seeing the league circle up around a guy. It's really going through a tough time. So it's awesome, man. I think the XCFL it's more than a league. It's more than a Madden league, and there's respect and there's brotherhood. Honestly, in this game. So props to everybody for chipping in. Everybody that donated. Thank you so much. I know Brian appreciated it. And I know a lot of thoughts and prayers have been given, up for Coach Drew Gibbs' family. So, I thank you guys for tuning in to the XCFL podcast. You guys, it's not just the people that make the content; it's actually the people that consume the content that makes it worth making. So, we appreciate you guys tuning in and listening and giving a crap about the league. It means a lot to us because it's why we do it. We would just be talking heads if nobody was listening. So, a comment. You can hit us up in Maine. Give us your thoughts on how this episode went, and we'd love if you would shoot a little message to Drew.
Clown.
Clown, yeah, just hit him with the clown. Even the fraud emoji would be great. Just tag
Ooh.
Drew,
Hashtag
hit him with
not
the
my
fraud.
champion.
Yeah, hashtag not my Super Bowl champion. I think that
Send him screenshots of the score against Boone.
Boone was hyped. Props to Boone. I guess we promoted him to 31 now since Drew's at 32. I guess we'll give Boone the nudge up to
I
31.
think we may need to bring Trey off the wait list and move Drew down to 33.
Yeah, Payne or Trey, the friend
Trey.
of Rob's friend, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure Drew only gets the credit for like a guest appearance on the podcast, and not like the full
Perfect.
full guest. But
Clown.
Well, guys, we really do appreciate you tuning in to PRI. It's been our 8th episode. Wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so
Good night,
much for
fellas.
everything you do.
Shit.
God bless. Have a good night.
Good luck, Wings.